early game sustain, the bright bulwark that can just stop every movement abilities coming through, in its path. It is just such a strong captain at this point. And there you go, the first phase of bans and draft coming through. Lyra banned, and Black Feather, and a Rhyme being picked up.
Yeah, Rhyme first pick A side, very common draft. We might see a Crawl pick Petal ban, which we've seen a couple of teams, I've seen one team do today against the Rhyme. It works really well because they can't play that weapon Petal. You counter the Rhyme with your Crawl. But of course, there's still a few captains they might want to lock in place. Maybe the Churnwalker, maybe Arden. But no, they're going first pick Vox. So a really different prioritization from Impunity. They don't want to try and get their captain. They want to try and get the Crawl, for example. They want that Vox to try and cut away from Rhyme.
Yep, and we've seen this particular draft coming through from Impunity before, and that is just in yesterday's game. When a Rhyme was being picked up, what Impunity actually did was use a Vox and a Samuel, so I'm not surprised if they will actually go for that team comp. Very good siege in the early game, very good poke as well. So if the Vox and Samuel do come through, just to try to counter this Rhyme, and Vox in general, at this point in 2.9.1, has been such a prominent figure in the fold and in competitive scene. It's just so hard to squish this cockroach that, Vox really is. You nerf him, you mentioned it yesterday, you nerf his items, and yet he still stands strong on the fold.
Yeah, and if you pick Vox, you pretty much are forced to ban Saw unless they pick their weapon because it's such a good counter pick. They have very similar range, very low range. And the Crawl ban, again, makes sense because you don't want to give away Vox Crawl as a combo, despite the fact it's double weapon. It's a great counter to your Rhyme. And if Crawl builds a Bonesaw first item, Vox will start shredding through with his breaking point stacks. So it makes sense to ban it away. Arden, similar, just a pick to see what's going to happen, see what you can counter pick with your final Crystal Power jungler. There aren't that many good picks. As you said, Samuel's the most likely pick because you don't want to go anyone with Dive because you're up against Rhyme. So someone like Alpha would be in a lot of trouble. But we're seeing Churnwalker being put along with the Rhyme. This is a combination that works very well. AoE with the Winter Spires, Torment pulling everyone back towards Rhyme, and a Trespass to stun him up. That can work well. I think the last pick, if it's a Kestrel, this is a really nice draft from Renegades.
Yep, Kestrel will definitely work. You can try your best to outpoke the Vox before he gets the sustain from Shift. And although Shift do not quite help Vox with the sustain anymore because it has changed, you no longer get very high, or rather the what is the item? The Book of Eulogies and the Barb Needle. You no longer get health regen from the minions that you kill. Rather, you just get lifesteal in general. But the side of RNG will go for that weapon paddle to be placed in lane. You mentioned it before, and we kind of did, talk about the weapon paddle before. And he works, basically Petal works very similarly to that or so.
I'm pretty sure Petal's a she. I'm normally wrong on the genders of heroes, but I'm pretty sure Petal's a she. And yeah, last pick is going to be Samuel as expected. I think that Impunity were going to go with that draft pretty much whatever was picked up. They were like, yeah, they're going to pick a weapon carry. They've got the Rhyme. They're going to pick a captain of some sort. They went with Churnwalker, so that makes it even more sense to pick Samuel because poke comps are really good against Churnwalker. If you have someone who can outrange him, Churnwalker can't land chains and then is completely useless. All of his kit is revolved around landing and maintaining chains. Perk, A, B, and ult are all to do with those chains. So if you have a comp like a Samuel and a Celeste or just double poke, then Churnwalker has absolutely nothing on that. He can't land chains. He's going to die. His team can't utilize Churn or any of his abilities.
Yep, but there is one thing that I really wanted to see from both of these teams because they know each other so well. I know there are very limited meta heroes at this point. It's either this or that, if not then that. But they should know each other's play style. And I was actually expecting later scaling gameplay, basically drafting coming through because both of these teams generally want to play super passively until the late game, catch one person out, catch two people out, and then start the snowball. And it's so weird to say snowball in the late game, but this is what RNG do, or Impunity does best when going up against each other. And this is what they are all about. And Samuel, if you not quite try to poke in that early game, try to apply pressure in the early game, it will be very difficult for you to scale up because Rhyme can just tank you up in the late game once he lands those Winter Spires, those Chilled Winds, and the Valkyrie as well. And Pat can just kite and just poke you from afar. And Pat with that Churn, I know Churn is an early game hero, not very much a late game, but we've seen it work in late game. Those Trespass and those Torments will come in really, really handy in late game team fights.
Yeah, I think both teams will feel that they can win the early game team fights. Ryan will think, yeah, Ryan can do well. Samuel will agree that he can do quite well with the Drifting Dark at level 2. So we might see a fight because both teams think they can win, but also both teams will know that the other team can probably win the fight as well. So there's no real advantage to either team early on, which could lead to a very passive game, very late game scaling compositions, which we have seen these teams do before, because if you make a mistake, you're going to lose the game. So we are going to have to wait and find out, are we going to see aggression from Impunity and from Renegades, or will it be scaling into the late game? We're loading into the house to unfold for the first game of the finals. Let us know which team you think is going to take this series. And I think, yeah, it's going to start defensive, but level 2, we're really going to find out what these teams' intentions are. Do they plan on this level 2 fight, or do they plan to just farm?
Yeah, but then you see now Renegades really just playing super passively. They're just going into their bags, just clearing them out. But SNK EA on that Chan Walker just being an absolute nuisance right now, walking in Arden, throughout the fold, and of course trying to provide vision for his team around this Elder Treant. But entirety of Impunity will now roam into this Elder Treant, and let's see if there's a fight that will happen.
One chain does land, the second chain does miss, and the chain's being broken. Get those back. He wants to get chains on the Elder and on the enemy. There's one. He's going to try and do a bit of damage, but SNK does manage to. Shingy secures the Treant away. Now Queasy doing a lot of damage because he's going to jump in with the trampoline. Going to do a bit of damage with Defq, but the chains are not landing, so this damage is not being reflected throughout the entire team. Defq going to do a bit of damage. SNK forced to boots away. Interesting build from SNK, going for boots and protect contract. Spaghetti will trampoline over the wall back towards his lane. Now he's going to port home, so Vox will be able to push this lane very effectively. Spaghetti could be in a bit of trouble. He might even face at the bush, but Defq will show himself. So it's a nice place from Spaghetti being defensive. And yeah, we're going to see a passive game from these teams, most likely. Petal is struggling farm, but he's going to get that nice one.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, both of these teams, they have, I don't want to say they respect each other too much, but they know what each other can do. They know one single mistake can just turn the game around, and that's why they are just playing generally in such, so passively throughout whenever they do meet each other. But now, once again, SNK trying to go in, stealing the Elder Treant with reaching it.
Yep, she does manage to get that one away. SNK's got three chains, so they can turn this fight around. Futility of life. So much work. How is that? That is a passive from Churnwalker and a half. Spaghetti dealing a little bit of damage to heal up SNK, and that just shows how strong Churnwalker is early on. He got 3 chains and just cannot die. When you play Churnwalker with his rare talent, it is ridiculous how much healing he gets. He's just so fun to play. But even without it, that's just keeping him alive. So no kills traded, and the gold very even.
Yeah, the gold will be relatively even. I mean, 6.5 to 6.2. Not much now in this early game. Once again, Samuel not quite finding those fights that he needs to. Elder Treant constantly secured by RNG anyways. And although Quartervore now moving forward, as with Queasy as well, onto this Elder Treant, let's see if they can actually steal it. Nope.
Deb is going to go to Quartervore actually. Now, Shingy trying to do a bit of work. And it's going to be Renegades going quite aggressive. I think that they can try and get a bit of damage onto the box if they decide to go in. Shingy has not got boots available actually, so Defq going to try and run away. Chillwinds does not quite connect. Now Quarterbot is the next target. Drifting Dark, very aggressive from Queasy. Chain has landed. He's going to get second Malice and Verdict empowered inside that Drifting Dark, but will not get any more. Now Shingy, Winter Spire does not quite connect. Of course, he's healing fast on himself. That chain, hook and chain not going to hit as well. Now SNK a little bit low on health, and Spaghetti is forced to back away. One chain is going to be broken.
Very good wave pushing towards RNG, and if Defq or the side of Impunity really wishes to, they can just concentrate their firepower onto this turret, but they will back off. They will be looking for a team fight. Yeah,
that's going to be Shingy going quite low. Defq working towards Poison Shift as a first item to try and counter the Rhymes. The stain. Spaghetti is farming up quite well under his turret, but Queasy wants to take that turret down. Spaghetti can trampoline in for a bit of extra range, but Malice Verdict not quite enough. SNK baits him with the healing flask. He'll be okay. Jingy back up to lane, a little bit healthier from that front trim, but still very low. All three members of Renegades. Impunity could try and push their advantage a little bit more, but Samuel is running out of energy, so he's not going to be able to push the tier 1 turret down any further. SNK try to land 2 chains, does torment them back, but that won't be too much. Spaghetti's going to fall home.
Yep, and Impunity constantly just staying and protecting their turrets really well, and that is one of the early game weakness of Petal going up against a Fox, and the only weakness that obviously we can tell, but it's just how slow Spaghetti farms as compared to Vox and those resonance bouncers that can just distribute damage in general, right? So Vox will generally farm really fast, but Quatervar may be caught up by Chingy.
Yeah, there's going to be a win by forcing Boots from Quatervar. No, sorry, it's forcing Vanguard to keep himself alive, but it's not enough. Petal gets the first blood, and now Samuel, Malice, and Verdict in this drifting guard is doing quite a little bit of damage. Shingy wanting to go on the top. Deku, level 5 infusion popped and Poison Shift. He wants to fight. Water Wind Blind to survive. Blind Force Boots away. There's going to be the sleep bomb. Samuel's going to come down and it's going to be dodged out. Deku is doing a lot of damage. Will we be able to survive? Chumokis is bouncing on himself and he will stay alive. Now Spaghetti is trying to defend this turret by himself. Samuel is good for some farm, but Ryan already picked it up. There's the drifting sideways to get as much damage on this turret as they can. Impunity will get a return first turret. Torment going to yank Samuel towards that turret, but he's fine. Fox gets the turret taken down, and Defu is so aggressive. He's got his infusion. Wait for it. Will it be enough? Not quite. How is Shellwalker still alive? He hasn't died yet. Defu wants basic. Petal probably could have fought it, but she's going to bait. She's going to try it. Vanguard going to come through. Defu is going to be healthy. Take 2 turret shots, and now Shingy's up in lane. Spaghetti still wants to port home to work towards that tornado trigger, but Impunity, the call is back off. Let's go to shop. Nice infusion from Defu gets them a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, gives the side of Impunity a tower, and on top of that as well, no kills, but definitely give them, a slight, just softening that gold lead that the side of Renegades have got over them. Although it's just a mere 500. Earlier on, it was close to 1,000, close to 1,000, I think 8 or something. 1,000, 8 or something 100 over to the side of Impunity. I can't quite remember the number right now, but honestly, DefQ picking up that early game infusion definitely is helping the side of Impunity right now, because Spaghetti, although he has got an infusion in his pocket, what we see from both Renegades and Impunity generally is once they pick up the first item, they'll immediately buy an infusion to just try to get an extra spike in power, an extra spike in defense, just so any early game team fights would break out. And DefQ definitely making full use of that infusion, picking up a turret for their team as well. But Impunity looking as if they have got an advantage, will look to push the second one as well.
Yeah, infusion still active for DefQ. He wants to get as much value out of that. Popped by Queasy, so Queasy's used that level 7 infusion. Spaghetti still got his available, has hit level 7 now, so probably going to pop that with this team fight. Quatervar using his reflex block, 1 chain, going to come out, going to use that torment, try and push DefQ, and he's going to start with DefQ. Valkyrie comes down, not a little bit wide actually, Sleep onto 2 members, wait for it, going to come through, silence them up. DefQ is going to take a little bit of damage, he's going to do a lot more though on Shing. He hasn't got breaking point, infusion is almost going to run out for DefQ, and so he's going to fall just as his infusion runs out, and that is a trade on to the Samuel actually, who gets a kill onto Ryan. And now Samuel trying to make the plays. Can he do the 1 versus 2? Doesn't look likely, but Spaghetti didn't pop his infusion. He didn't need to apparently, so he's still got that available. Voxes did run out just as he died, and Queasy getting a little bit off his, managing to secure the Rhyme. And now Spaghetti looking to try and push the return 2 on turret. Vox is taking backs with Samuel, so this should go down.
Yep, it should go down, and if they don't, then the side of RNG may be once again doing what they don't do quite well at, and that is not making full use of the death. But I do have to take that back, because they are going for the bigger objective right now, which would be the gold mine, but will be spotted out by Impunity.
Yeah, I don't think they could have really skipped that gold mine anywhere close to what they wanted to. If they'd have pushed the turret down, then maybe could have forced some back ports and sneak a gold mine. But given the rotation of Impunity, it's really not going to happen. Second infusion picked up by DefQ, and Shingy has managed to buy an infusion and use it before Spaghetti decides to use his. Still in the pocket, waiting. He bought it at level 6. He's now level 8. They had an even trade, so he's spent 500 less gold than DefQ on infusions. And Spaghetti gets level 9. This might be important. DefQ with a bit of damage. There's going to be a drifting dart forward. Spaghetti going to go and look quite low from that Samuel, and he's going to have to back to the base. There's no way he's going to survive any length of time in this fight. So Resonance bounces though, catches him out, and he's going to go so low to that second bounce, but will not fall. Now SNK is the next target. That's a lovely Oblivion. Going to put him to sleep. Fountain will not be enough to save his life. SNK is going to go, and so will the turret. Impunity using well these infusions, and that is going to be Shingy going solo. Going to go down. Now Spaghetti has sold his infusion to work towards a bit more defense, but that's not going to do anything. DefQ with 15 breaking point stacks gets the ace. Impunity 3 turrets 10 minutes in. This is the Impunity we like to see.
Yep, and this is what Impunity does so well. I mean, even looking at Renegades, they managed to just take down 2 players from the side of Impunity earlier on in the fight before this one. Forces Samuel to just back off into his jungle, and yet the push couldn't come through. There was no push into the first turret at all. Whereas for Impunity, just look at them. They secure 1 kill, they go for the turret, they secure the second one to push into the third, and of course DefQ being just bloodthirsty at this point, just wanted the triple kill for himself, wanted to ace that of Renegades, and manages to do so. Push down the anchor turret, and now RNG have got a both base fully exposed. I wanted to say exposed and base at the same time. It came out as both. But anyways, yes, had their base fully exposed, and it is just Impunity just can slowly take the game right now. They can just hold up, try to hold their ground, you know, just defend this first tier turret, but maybe will not be able to.
Yeah, Spaghetti doing a lot of damage. It's going to take it down. Quarterbot using that crucible, and the Gullet's going to come through, but the Torment's going to yank them towards this Rhyme. Petal's a bit tired. She's gone to sleep, but Rhyme is not. Rhyme's doing the work. And now Petal's going to jump in onto DefQ. Torment going to yank him back towards that wall. Shut down for the Rhyme. 1 turret, for Renegades, and 2 kills. Now, they will be able to stop Quarterbot porting, but no, he just manages to get home. SNK deciding that the gold mine is more important. He kind of wanted Arden to port home. It's not worth chasing that Arden down for the kill. Let him back to the base, get 2 turrets, and so 1.5 turrets and a gold mine. So nice turnaround for Renegades. Impunity not looking that strong in that particular team fight.
Yeah, did not look all that strong in that team fight. Only reason because both Creasy and DefQ was caught out of position, got, you know, hooked by, you know, basically Chan Walker's hook and chain, and got hooked into that gauntlet, although Quarterbot set it down. But Spaghetti, with that damage, I don't think you should quite be anywhere near Spaghetti and Chingy. The side of Impunity should just work and play with their team comp, and their team comp being kite from afar, dance around the enemies, don't get hooked by the Chan Walker, and don't get exploded by Chingy. Basically, it sounds very easy on paper, since, you know, Chingy has got Chingy is a melee, considered melee hero. The only poke that Chingy quite had would be that of the Winter Spires, but DefQ and Creasy can easily just dodge out from them. As with Creasy, we spoke about Samuel before. None of his abilities have got a dash, but he is constantly moving. He's not a stationary mage like that of Celeste or Scarf, even, you know, Castro when using those glimmer shots. So he's constantly moving, but yet in that team fight, it definitely RNG definitely played very, very well, landing those hook and chains and then just chaining, tormenting them closer to that of Chingy and Spaghetti.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Impunity are ahead. Despite the fact they lost the last team fight, they're being aggressive with their rotation, starting up the sentry now. And there's really not much that Renegades can do against this, except hope that Petal scales, or try and land a couple of chains, get that trespass, get a couple of stuns, so that Shingy can close the gap really quite easily. I think Impunity might look for a little bit of a gank here, try and hide, look for a fight, because there isn't a sentry. But SNK is like, nah, I'm just going to wait by the base. So really, really odd how defensive Renegades are, despite the fact they won the last team fight. And Impunity happy to just take the entire jungle away. And it's really, really odd that Renegades aren't doing anything.
Yep, I think at this point, Renegades really just want to farm up, turtle up, and just hold the lane towards themselves. So when, you know, when their wave does get pushed out, it will be stopped immediately. And the side, DefQ and Creasy cannot quite get any lane farm coming into this later part of the game. But I don't think it's working quite well for them. I mean, the Impunity is just going through their jungle and their jungle. Make sense? Jungle of Renegades and their own jungle, and just securing farm that way. Although lane is pushed towards the side of Renegades, but Renegades, they are not too far back. They are about 1,000 gold back. They can definitely come back from this. We've seen bigger goal gaps comebacks from the side of Renegades before. They just have to constantly execute very similar team fights, have Quarterfall jump in, land those hooks and chains on Chrissy and DevQ, pull them into a Winter Spire. If not, then a Valkyrie, and I think it is pretty much a voila. That is how you're going to win your game.
Yeah, Solarblade into double, Tornado Trigger 4 Petal already. Box is on 3 items as well, so very even. But looking into this team fight, Winter Spire's gonna land through. That's Trampoline from Spaghetti, gonna go do a bit of damage. FQ is trying to trade with the 1 versus 1. Who's gonna get the kill? Looks like Desu's gonna go down to the Rhyme actually. And now that is the next who's the next target for Spaghetti? It's gonna be Quincy, who's fighting back in his drifting dart, drifting around the fold. And now Corner Boss trying to keep him alive. But Spaghetti is about half health. Gauntlet wasted completely. Nothing you're going to get from that except a cooldown on his Echo, I assume. And so now Spaghetti going to try and push this wave up. I don't think Renegade's going to get much more than a Titu turret. Maybe a Sentry, but no, they're going to back off towards the Kraken. I doubt they're going to take it. Maybe start it up to bait a fight. Yeah, they are going to start it. You can't chain Kraken. That is one not mistake, but one disadvantage of Churnwalker is that when you're trying to take Kraken, you can't chain it. When you're defending against the Kraken, you can't chain it. So if the enemy team all stand behind Kraken, then you can't land your chains on them. But I'm surprised when they get got that Kraken so quickly.
And one thing as well, I mentioned earlier on when we actually went into draft, it's that Samuel falls out rather, largely as compared to Chingy on this rhyme into the late game. And we are seeing the spikes coming through from Chingy. Yes, I know Spaghetti was basically the MVP of that fight, just putting out so much damage onto DevQ in that 1v1-ish fight. But Chingy, as compared to Samuel, Chingy definitely have got the upper hand as long as Chingy can stay in team fights for a very, very long time.
Yeah, here's going to be DevQ building up breaking point stacks. Valkyrie comes down. That's the test pass. Doing a bit of work. SNK getting as much as he can. And that's going to be Petal getting the kill onto DevQ. Quarter bar, the next Valkyrie is going to vanguard towards Queasy. Kraken very healthy on this tier 3 turret. Going to go down very quickly to the Petal. So already working towards the last item. And now Renegades looking to see if they can push down to the base. First gauntlet dropped. Echo is up now for Quarter Bar. Going to pop it on that gauntlet. Trying to defend this Vein Crystal turrets. Lovely double stab, but Spaghetti's going to run around the backside. Trampoline onto the turret. Petal doesn't care. She's going to get Atlas, but the Vein's exposed. Their turret's turning their focus. They don't care about DevQ. Vine wants to get some kills, but Petal's like, nah, let's take the game. And Renegades take the first game. Despite the fact we were saying they were being too passive, didn't look like they were going to win. They just have.
Well, I mean, Renegades and Impunity definitely played rather passively as compared to other games when they were up against other teams. So comparing those games and their games, I must say they are playing very, very passively. I really just want Chrissy on this Samuel to be a little more aggressive in terms of lane. Yes, they were very aggressive in lane, and they did push into, they got under 10 minutes actually, that anchor turret from RNG. They just removed it, cracked open a base, but from then on it is basically a stalemate. It is a waiting game as to who can farm up the best, who can go in for a team fight, a good one, secure the Kraken and push to win. It is basically the same thing. You take the anchor turret too early, this is what happens to you. Impunity thought, they had the better strategy, went into the jungle, cleared out the entire jungle, but just couldn't make anything out of it just yet. And thus Renegades have got the upper hand because they had so much farm, they were allowed to farm up as well.
Well, I think the fact that they stalled the lane wasn't that impactful. They traded the jungle. They farmed up so that the carry got the jungle instead of the lane. And the gold lead was dead even. The item spikes were dead even pretty much between the two teams. It was just a much better engage for Renegades, which you wouldn't expect with someone like a Churnwalker. You'd expect that the Arden can just kite away with Vanguard and the double poke comp can just run away from Churnwalker. That wasn't allowed to happen. Ryan always jumping in onto someone, didn't matter who, either Vox or Samuel, and Shingy would just jump in, dive on, and that was really well executed team fights and decision making from Renegades to get that win. So draft is ready for the second game. So without further ado, let's head on into the draft.
Right, so coming into the second draft, we will be seeing Impunity on the blue side and Renegades taking the place of the red. And with this, Impunity, can ban out the Lyra. There you have it. So we are going to see matters throughout the board, and it's just down to the picks and what will we pick up to counter those picks and bans. So with Impunity banning out the Lyra, the side of RNG can choose. They can choose to either not want to face the Black Feather, do not want to face the Rhyme as well, and there we have it. Similar drafting to the first game, Lyra and Black Feather banned out.
Yeah, we would expect to see a Rhyme being picked up here as well. Just go with what worked. Don't change it. If you're A side, go with what the enemy team did before they just won. So Rhyme pick would make sense, but no, they're going to switch it up. Go for the Arden. Leave Rhyme available. Leave Cruel available. There's lots of options that could go for. Yeah, just why not pick Rhyme again? Shingy doing so well on that Rhyme in the previous game. Copy, paste, do it again in this game. You still could have Churnwalker available if it's not banned away. And I think a smart ban here would be maybe get rid of the Cruel if you don't want to play against it, or maybe get rid of the Petal if you don't think you can pick it yourself and you want to get Churnwalker as the next priority.
Yep, I personally don't think. Okay, yeah, with Lyra out of fold, they may just want to prioritize that Churn Walker pickup. If not, then Grace for the extra sustain. But I don't think that would come through as well. So the Cruel will be seen as a ban coming out from the side of Renegades. Cruel, very good ban, very well thought out. I mean, they did spend about 9 seconds, more than 9 seconds actually, 29 seconds thinking that out. But for the side of Impunity now, Churn Walker ban. I was expecting a Petal ban actually, but they do not want to face up. They don't want to go up against a Churn Walker, and thus we are seeing it ban.
Yeah, it makes sense. Churnwalker was played so well with the Rhyme in the last game. Don't let that same composition through, because you basically force yourself to pick Weapon Petal, and then I'm pretty sure that they'd have a counter ready. They'd just play a very similar draft, but expect you to pick something. If you don't, copy paste, do exactly the same comp as last time. So now they're slightly reduced on captains, 3 off of the fold, and so Lance pickup, that's fine, works really well with Rhyme. Double root, double stun if you time it all correctly. So I expect to see Echo pretty early on, try and get as much lockdown with this Lance and Rhyme as possible. They've left their last pick open. If Vox is picked up, they have the Saw available. If it's not, they have Vox themselves. And of course, Weapon Petal, still a really big problem that has to be considered. If it's not picked up by Impunity, you have to think that Renegades will take it.
Yeah, but Castro is still open and is still available on the fold. If the side of if the side of Impunity do think that Renegades would want to go for that, Petal, if not, then that of Saw. But Impunity, we've seen Death2 just very comfortable on that Vox. Although he did lose out in that game itself, it was because half the time he was caught out of position, either by Chingy, if not, then by Churn Walker. But a Samuel would come through from the side of Impunity. I'm not surprised if the last pick will be that of Saw. They have a very good siege coming out from them. But of course, with a Saw, then a Castro is available for counter. But Samuel can try to outpoke that Castro. So I guess throughout, all in all, both of the draft would come through rather evenly.
I think that Samuel does well against the Rhyme. It's really down to these last carry picks. They've gone for the Vox. Saw is available, good against Vox, not great against Samuel, and that's definitely a possibility. Kestrel still free. I think if they pick Weapon Petal here, they're in a fantastic position. No, they've gone for the Saw. They're going for it. Renegades think, yeah, we can do this. Impunity, I know you've played Saw before. We're going to play our Saw now, and your Vox is in a lot of trouble. If Samuel isn't constantly in lane, then Vox is going to lose his tier 1 turret about 3 minutes in. He's going to die an awful lot. And so if Samuel's forced into lane, Saw can be a bit more defensive, try and get his Solar Blade Power Spike, and the Lance and Rhyme combo can just invade Samuel's jungle, steal away all the farm. And so it's a pretty simple win condition for Renegades early on, is don't do a level 1 team fight. There's no need. Level 2 team fight around the Elder Tree. There's no need for it. Your Saw's not great at that team fight, especially against a Samuel. You just pressure lane, and if the Samuel comes up, Rhyme invades the jungle. I think Renegades have a really good chance of taking this game.
Yep. So Minimiter, do you have your game face on? That is a golden question right now as we are preparing to jump onto the phone. Do you have your game face on?
I've just picked up my Saw mask. Saw push game! He can do it, I believe. I believe in the Saw. I really hope he's...
And I believe your mask will grant the side of Renegades the blessings they need, because I'm expecting a very aggressive game coming through. We've seen, if you cannot, push out the first lane, the lane in the early part of the game, your Saw just falls out so badly. And we've seen Renegades counter the Saw with a Celeste before. Yes, there is no Celeste right now, but there is a Samuel. And Saw generally wants to stand very close to his minions as well in that of the early game. So, I don't know. I personally think in the previous draft, I'm on the side of Renegades, but in this draft, as long as Impunity can hold out, get Saw, do not allow Saw to quite push into, in the early game, they would probably have this game, because they can just outkite that of Rhyme, do more damage compared to the Saw with that Vox. So it is just down to execution, to be honest. But you have a game face on, so may your blessings be on RNG.
We're split in the desk. We're loading into the Halcyon Fold for the second game. Who is going to take it? Will Impunity be able to outpoke this Saw, stop him scaling up, or are we going to see Renegades push to win as early as possible? I think there may be a couple of pings indicating that Saw should just push for the win. And yeah, Spaghetti going to be seeing what he can do, starting with the Elder Tree and Renegades. It's a smart rotation from Saw, because he will almost always guarantee that if there's a contest by the enemy, you just use your roadie run, shank that, shank the tree, and it's guaranteed to be going down to your team. There's no way that's being stolen away, and he takes it really quickly with those basic attacks and spin up stacks. But defensive from Queasy, probably going to rotate up to lane after this.
Yep, he will probably, and the side of RNG as well will head up into lane. Minion candies pop to prevent the Saw from pushing this early lane, as we see. And Queasy now coming up to lane. SNK trying his best to body block.
This is exactly what they need to do. Minions candid to stop Saw pushing. Samuel in lane, stop Saw pushing. And the corner bar's going to go low. He's going to get rooted up. Winter Spy is going to hit him, but not the second one because of the Vanguard keeping him alive. Nice play from corner bar. Another suppressing fire, just poking out. And this Fox has nothing he can do. If Saw gets anywhere near, he's going to go low. Queasy, nice Malice and both going to land. There's the very aggressive Drifting Dark. He wants Spaghetti down. Nice roadie run away. But Shingy's waiting in the bush. There's going to be Winter Spire. Where's the Chill Winds? It did not quite land the root, but DefQ's going to go quite healthy, and he's going to do a lot of damage. SNK is going to almost full. SNK survives. He's going to put home behind the turret. Now Spaghetti by himself trying to defend this wave. He'll be able to stop it going under turret, and if DefQ decides to dive turret for Saw, we all know how that's going to end, and it's not going to be for DefQ unless he's going to try it, but no, just trying to get some resonance bounces and a little bit of turret focus. Nice rotation from members of Impunity. They do not let themselves get behind early on. Good suppressing fire. Impale going to come through from SNK. There it is. It misses. Nice dodge from DefQ. And Spaghetti is so low that he's going to be forced to back home after he gets this final minion.
Yep, and this is what I'm talking about. But DefQ now in a 1v1 or a 2v1 against SNK EA, but SNK will back off. Try to stop the pop back from DefQ, but will not be successful because Quartervore is just being a nuisance, being a brush, being there for his allies. And this is what I'm talking about. Both of these teams, they must have run the Saw push comp for a while now. They've probably played 100 games on it, and thus they know what they need to do exactly to stop, slow, and just delay this Saw push comp from coming through. The longer Saw takes to push down this first turret, the more difficult it will be for the side of Renegades to just come out on top in team fights, because we know Vox is just very, very aggressive, as we can see now, very aggressive in terms of maneuvering throughout the map, and as with Queasy as well. And in the later part of games, Saw Vox can probably just out-kite that Saw because of how slow Saw is.
Malice onto Spaghetti, Malice vertic back onto the turret. Now Spaghetti's trying to defend this by getting those spin-ups back onto the minions. We see doing a bit of work. He's going to go down to low to Spaghetti, potential to be that much. This is exactly what I said for Renegades to do. Saw, defending turret, Shingy, steal the backs. Shingy has stolen the backs away, and so the gold lead is pushing in Renegade's favour. And it's exactly what Renegade needs to do. But that is going to be tough. SNK is going to fall. First blood going over to Spaghetti. He's going to use that Modi run to try and get away, but he's going to back under turret, and turret may even fall. So gold swing going massively down in Peter's favour. Shingy booting up. DefQ could be in trouble. Resonance. So Pulse is going to slow up Shingy, and that's the Chill Wind's not going to connect either. Boot does not land, and so DefQ is going to run away. He's going to be ahead now of ahead in terms of gold with that assist. Greasy does lose a bit of jungle, but gets the credit for that first blood. So nice lead for them. Renegades could try and push down the return turret with a saw. Problem is, Vox ported home for a poison shiv. Saw still hasn't ported home, but he's got double defense. So interesting build on Spaghetti, and I think they are going to look for a fight. Greasy coming up to lane. Spaghetti wants to either get tight or get some kills, and Rhyme going to try and come up from the backside. He's got his Valkyrie available. Impel lands. Rhyme using that flare, but no, not going to do too much. Saw wants to shock, so they are going to back off. Shingy looking to go in 1 versus 3. Thinks he can do it. He thinks he can do it. 1 versus 3. Valkyrie. Nephew is going to go low, and Lance going to come in with a fountain to make it a 2 versus 3, because that's less fun, but more likely for Renegades to win. Now Shingy trying to steal this treant away. Greasy should get it, but no, it's secured by Shingy. Fountain used by Cordovar, and now Shingy's going to try and go in. Root does land. There's going to inspire. Second hit. SNK's going to be low. Fountain himself. He just baited Cordovar. Meanwhile, Saw up in the lane. Turret's going down a little bit. Defq is going even lower, and he is in a lot of trouble. Defq has nothing he can do. SNK going to cover to this Saw. And what is the call for Impunity? Sentry's going to go down. Vibes going to get the entire back jungle as well away from Samuel. What does Spaghetti do? Does he go for Cordovar? Does he go for Defq? Does he go for Turret? He's going for Cordovar at the moment. He's not going to quite get enough. Defq is going to be the next target. He's used Mad Cannon. I don't even upgrade my Mad Cannon on Taurus level 6, but he's used it. And now SNK was put home, but they are going to back off. No, they're not. Greasy wants to go in. Suppressing Fire is going to come through, and he's going to try and tank for SNK, but Spaghetti's going to have to try and do the damage onto Greasy, and he's going to run away. Mad Cannon still popped, but that is finally a disengage.
Yeah, that would be the disengage coming through from Renegades, and Impunity knows full well if Spaghetti gets anywhere near the turret, it will be shredded down in no time. And thus, but RNG, I must say, they are playing very, very well. Just giving all the farm to Chingy, well, maybe not giving all the farm to Chingy, but more so Chingy just stealing all the farm away from Quisi. Quisi now sitting at 29 CS over the Chingy 46. Not a large spike. I mean, it's just a 10 plus spike for Chingy, but it's definitely looking very, very well for the side of Renegades. And coming into this late game, when you know Samuel already falls so hard, it will be very, very tough for the side of Impunity if they do not quite stop this push and stop this madness coming through from Chingy right now.
Speaking of push, Spaghetti is up in lane. That's a nice crit on the very aggressive up, but Spaghetti doesn't care. Pushes him out. There's going to be Oblivion. It's going to slip him up, and so is Solo. He gets the fountain. He's going to be alive. Defq's trying to do damage, but he knows the fountain comes through, so Spaghetti's going to be able to win that trade-off, no question. Spaghetti is going low, fountain not available, but he's a spun up. Saw Roadie run, going to come through, but he's going to use it to run away. Now Shingy is level 8, so nice overdriven Winter Spire means Sportify is going to go quite low, but so will SNK. He's going to fall. Saw spun up, he's now almost max stacks, but Shingy's trying to do the work, and Spaghetti's not quite able to get anything except the treant away, and Quisi's going to not quite find them. Renegades don't get anything, and Impunity get 1 kill, but still so not passive, but so uneventful in the end of these team fights.
You want to say anticlimactic, didn't you? You want to say that?
That's the word I was. That's a decent word, but yeah, very anticlimactic because the fights are lasting a long time, and there's a lot happening, but nothing's really coming out of it.
Yeah, and that's the only reason because of how well Impunity is actually trying to just, you know, just babysit their first turret, which we all know it's very similar to the current generation. They are basically snowflakes, right? Get close to them and they just tumble and they just fall. And Impunity, I must say, being very, very, very good parents to this first tier turret. The entirety of Impunity is back, and now a 3-man fight.
Yeah, there's going to be Cordovar taking a lot of damage, and then he's going to have to alive. Now Spaghetti is also low. He's just getting poked down by this Samuel. Now Shingy is the next target. Drifting Dark. Shingy is 1 versus 3. He's going to try and do it against Specify this time. He's got his team to help him. Lovely Valkyrie and the last on to Quisi. That is a no defense. Samuel is going to go down now. Defq next target. Gauntlet is there. So Spaghetti is stuck outside. Shingy is stuck inside. Spaghetti is so low. Defq's full health, but he can't do anything because if he goes near this Saw or this Rhyme, he's going to die. He's going to try it. Scout Trap is going to be dodged by the Roadie Run. Renegades could turn this around. If they get the jump, they will get the win. Times Monocle picked up the Saw. Shingy's going to go for it in the bush. There's Impel. It's going to connect. And Vibe is healing so much. Look at that. Sustain. Get bursted down, Defq. It's not an ace because Quisi is back, but it is 3 kills and will be a gold mine. Renegades, loving that play, but Samuel has enough. He wants to do the 1 versus 3 himself. He's going to Dark. Only gets 2 mana from vertic combos out. Spaghetti is going to put home. So Renegades do not get this gold mine unless the call is to stick to it. But no, Spaghetti's too low. Squeezy will not stop the backport, and Renegades get 3 kills, but no objectives.
Right, there you go. Renegades once again falling into, basically falling into what they did in the previous game. They are constantly getting kills, but they are not quite pushing it. And because the kills are so staggered, it's one after the other, and more often than not, it's because of plays like this. All of them are low. They go in, take down 2 members, but they cannot achieve anything from that because they know if they are caught out by Quisi on this Samuel, Quisi can easily just score a triple kill for himself and an ace for Impunity. And so the side of Renegades really have to rework on his strategy into team
fight. A lovely impale is going to land. Quisi can try and get that damage. Shingy's going to do so much, and SNK is going to go low. Now Spaghetti stacked up. He's down to half health, as he always seems to be in these fights. Quisi is the next target, but Turret is going to be focused, no question. Shingy boots in. She's got those boots. He's going to run inside it, and now Shingy is going to back off a little bit. Spaghetti gets the turret, and Renegades, they get 1 kill, they get a turret. Quisi wants to go in, lifting up forwards, so is the gauntlet, but that's a lot of damage. Spaghetti, mad cannon, over the wall, is it going to be enough? Not quite, and Quisi is going to back off. Spaghetti is going to get this treant away. Cordovar is going to go very low. Rody Run would have caught him out if Cordovar had been a bit too close, but they're going to back off, and doing quite well for Renegades. Once again, 2 on turret, not much else, because they can't really get this gold mine.
Yep, and this is the issue, like I mentioned earlier on. But the side of RNG, they are definitely looking much stronger coming into these team fights. They know the target to just lock on to, and on top of that, they just know how much they can actually push and how much they can deliver, how much they can actually tank up. And that scout trap, they have been sitting there for a very long time, well, have been finally popped. And aside of Renegades, all 3 members rather low, or rather SNK, very low.
There's going to be the impale, and Atlas landing onto DefQ. He's putting a concentration from Sack, wait for it comes through. Spaghetti with the Rody Run gets the kill. DefQ's going to be the next target, and Shingy's going to try and go back. Journey boots, they won't be able to go in. That's so low. SNK's going to fall. Phantom was last to save him. Atlas doesn't land on Saw or on Shingy. DefQ's going to go so low. Where is Spaghetti? Come on, up you come, Saw. You're a little bit slow, but he's going to get his Rody Run pretty soon. And Shingy wants to dive a turret to get there. Cordovar will not be able to. Spaghetti now, still fully stacked, is going to get this tier 2 turret. No way DefQ can survive this. Boots in by Shingy. Will it be enough? But DefQ's going to go low. He's going to go solo, but he's not going to fall. Turret goes down. Saw has been out. He's going to Rody Run. Will get the kill on Cordovar. DefQ is very low, but Quisi wants to do a 1 versus 1. He's not going to win that. Quisi is going to go low, and he's lost his fate. He may be an AFK. He probably knew he wasn't running away from Saw, and now Shingy is baiting DefQ while Spaghetti pushes the lane. This is a nice split push strategy, and that will be a turret. And that will be a stop at the backport because Rhyme wanted to go down, and now DefQ is going to block up the impale. But will SNK do the plays? He's trying to do a play like Cordovar. He wants to do a captain play, and he will get the kill. Saw with the suppressing fire to do a little bit of tick damage. Spaghetti gets the sentry down, and tier 3 turret. That's a lot more target focus, objective focus from Renegades.
Yeah, but we did see earlier on, and I was kind of chuckling to myself. I had to mute myself for a bit there. Only reason is because Chingy was in a fight, in a full-fledged 1v3, 1v2 fight, and then Saw was fully spun up. Saw couldn't get anywhere at all. There was no Arden, there was no, Lyra to give the speed moves, and Spaghetti was like, oh, wait for me, I'm the turtle that you don't want to leave behind. But hey, Chingy held himself up pretty well, and that actually was I guess the silver lining in the dark clouds, and then a blessing in disguise, because that gave Spaghetti the chance to stay very healthy, and in turn actually manages to take the first the anchor turret of Impunity.
Yeah, and there's going to be Triple Atlas going to be applied by SNK. Triple Atlas once again onto the member of Impunity, of the Renegades, sorry. And now Saw spell up again, but there's going to be a gauntlet crew. No one's going to come out of it, and Shingy is trying to do the damage. Spaghetti's outside the gauntlet. Still, Shingy wants to do 1 versus 3. Here we go. Journey boots picked up. Saw massive damage on that mad cannon. There's a second one. He is unbeatable. Spaghetti trying to 1v1 Quisi. I wonder who's going to win this. It's going to be Saw. Quisi's trying to run away, and Saw's trying to push down lane. Renegades doing well, but the triple Atlas was pretty interesting at the start of the fight. No one could do anything because everyone was attack slowed. But Shingy will know that Quisi is down and possibly try and cut him off. But no, Quisi will be able to put home. Probably a sentry picked up for Renegades.
Or probably not. Renegades do not quite want to overextend because DevQ and Quizzy and will be coming back into their own jungle. And I want to say that with Quarterfall and maybe Quizzy still alive, they could have just easily just jumped on Spaghetti. But I take that back because Mad Cannon just OP, just mad right now. Rarely would we see, weapon saw with Mad Cannon, but I just like how Mad Cannon actually works. The lower your health, the more damage it does, and boom, we saw it. Just one of it just destroyed Quartervore and just blew Quartervore up into Smithrins.
Yeah, it is interesting how the Mad Cannon does work, because when you're not spun up, Mad Cannon is really good at getting quicker and deals massive amounts of damage based on the but generally I don't use Mad Cannon on Saw because it just doesn't seem that useful. Attack speed picked up by Spaghetti, so working towards Tornado Sugar, last item. Now, Shingy trying to get some poke with the Wind Spires. Your comp is not poke, Renegade. Your poke comp is engaged. Speaking of engaged, Defky's going to engage. You're blocking on the Atlas. Spaghetti is going to do so much work. Quarterbar is going to go down. No, he gauntlets away. Double sleep with the Oblivion. SNK Force Crucible out of that gauntlet. Nice place from Renegades. Valkyrie wasted. Not going to get any damage or slows onto anyone. Now Renegade's going to start up this Kraken to force another team fight. Spaghetti with a really good engage, but a lovely disengage from Quarterbar.
Yep, very, very good disengage. The defensive gauntlet definitely used to its advantage, but now the entirety of Impunity might want to try to steal this Kraken. But
yeah, and there's going to be Quarterbar going very low. Spaghetti's going to do the damage. Is he going to get it? He's been Atlas, so now he's after Modi one, but he doesn't secure the Kraken. It'll be secured by the Samuel gets it, and Renegades lose the Kraken. Ace Buff Impunity are going to run them down. Malice, Verdict that's empowered. Shingy's trying to do the work. Shingy once again wants the 1v3, but Spaghetti's going to come in to try and give him a bit of a helping hand. Starts stepping through his life. Can Spaghetti do it? No, he's going to fall. So will the Lance, and Shingy is last man standing with the Sentry, though. MVP might mean that Shingy can do this. Atlas does land onto the box. Drifting Dark. Malice, Verdict does land onto Shingy once again, and he's going to go so low. Shingy's almost going to, but he is an ace for Impunity, and that is a really a really good thing for Impunity and disaster for Renegades.
Well, I guess curse us on you then, because I know what is happening behind the scenes and the viewers probably do not. So curse us on you, Minimizer, curse us on you, but you better put that back on right now, because Spaghetti will block out that speed, but Quarterbar jumping in the gauntlet.
It's going to be Quarterbar going to go quite low. Spaghetti's trying to do what he can. That's going to be a Valkyrie going to come through, but that is going to be still going down. Now Shingy has to try and do the work, but they have got the base to back to. Kraken is bearing down on the base. Shingy trying to do a bit of work, but Samuels doesn't care. Samuels going onto the base. Samuels trying to win the game already. Kraken very healthy, and Fox is Atlas, but he's going to switch his focus onto the Lance. Lance going to go to the base. He's not going to be enough. Now Shingy's so healthy, but it doesn't think it's going to matter. The Kraken's on the vein. The Kraken's going to get the win and the turnaround. Impunity take this series 1-1. And the thing that she was talking about is, I was wearing my Saw mask and they're winning the fights. I took the mask off and the Renegades lost the game.
Yeah, there you have it. So nope, don't take that off anymore when you see a Saw on either team, because you are basically you're the curses and you're the blessings.
I would like to apologize to Renegades for taking my mask off.
But okay, let us just be honest. From there, Renegades were very low. They were excruciating low when they went for the Kraken. Impunity caught them out. Samuel stole the Kraken, and thus Impunity just took advantage of the circumstances that Renegades are in, and basically burglarize the house that's on fire. Basically, that is what Renegades are. Basically, Impunity is.
Yeah, it was well played by Impunity. The Kraken steal from Samuel, so important. The ace buff would have put Saw back to full health. So the Kraken buff would have put Saw back to full health. And Renegades would have then pushed the Kraken, probably won the game. But because Renegades was so low trying to take it, and Spaghetti was forced to Rody one far too early, so then he Rody run the Kraken, didn't secure it, which is all of Renegade's burst is just gone with that Rody run. Rhyme, very predictable. Lance, very predictable, except for the Githian wall. So Samuel, Malice does steal it away. Impunity get the kills, get the game. And a surprising turn of events. Renegades look so strong, but Impunity take this series 1-1.
Yep, Impunity definitely forcing the series into the third game, and I'm not surprised at all. both of these teams. And this is what I'm talking about for all the viewers that are just so very confused when I say, they are playing very passively. They're playing in such a manner because they know, when they make a mistake and then the other team can just capitalize on it. This is what I'm talking about. Renegades made I don't want to say it's a big mistake. They just got very low, couldn't secure the Kraken, couldn't get the ace buff, and Impunity immediately turned on them. Imagine if the scenario was changed around when Impunity is in that condition. Impunity wouldn't have started the Kraken at all. Impunity would have went back, healed up, and then tried to start the Kraken then. And that is quite the difference here between Impunity and Renegades. Renegades, they are very aggressive, but half the time they just overstep the comfortability of the game.
Yeah, I think that as you said, that shows why the team, because so much can happen so quickly in this game. It looks like, yeah, pretty comfortable. You don't get any kills off the team fight, but you win. You get ahead. You're like, yeah, we're pretty good. We just get the damage. We now start up Kraken, but just turned around in an instant. But it's going to be interesting to see what these teams are going to decide to go for in the final game. Draft is ready for the final game of the finals. Without further ado, let's head on into the draft.
So coming into this draft, we have once again Renegades back into the blue side and Impunity now on the red side. Very similar to the first game itself, we might just see same bands, and not sure if the Saw pick would come through once again because it was last pick on Renegades previous game, in the previous game itself. But I'm not surprised if Lyra and Blackfeather, Lyra and Blackfeather will be banned out almost immediately. Not much of a thought that should be put through. I mean, both of these heroes, both of these characters are very, very strong and dominant in 2.9.1.
Yeah, Saw is one of those heroes where it's better to pick on B side because you know the enemy weapon carry, and you know they're not going to pick Celeste in lane to counter you. So that's why as A side you want to ban away Lyra because you don't want to pick it. This leaves Rhyme open. Probably going to be first picked. Rhyme not quite winning the last game, but doing loads of work, being a really good pick for Renegades. So I think they will still go for it despite losing with it last game.
Yeah, I think so as well for the side of Renegades. I mean, Chingy, very, very comfortable on this Rhyme. Did not quite made as much plays in the previous game, but he was the front liner of the side of Renegades, just allowing Spaghetti in the backline to just put out so much damage untouched. And Spaghetti in half the team fight is right there. Spaghetti just isn't in there for, basically all of it, almost all of it. And the only reason being it's because of how well Rhyme is just zoning the enemies out. And Spaghetti just comes in with a Mad Cannon, just activated, and then pops everyone, just cleans up the team. But of course, the Rhyme will be picked up and followed by a weapon battle, probably for the side of Impunity, and then a Saw second phase banner.
Saw's being banned away. We're not going to see being the disastrous hero in this game. But I think the reason why they banned Saw away is because they want to put that petal weapon in lane, and so it's annoying to play against Saw. They had to pick the Samuel. They had to try and kite him away. They kind of got lucky to beat Saw in the last game. If we're being honest, the Kraken steal with a malice from Samuel's A ability is not what you'd expect if you're trying to do the probability of winning the game. So makes sense. If there's nothing else for you to ban, you don't need to ban a captain. You want to pick yours up. You don't need to ban Cruel or any of those heroes because you've got your Petal to counter it. And so Arden is the final ban. I think they spent a bit too much time thinking of that, because now if a surprise pick comes through, there is almost no bonus time to try and counter it.
Yep, and that is quite the issue. 8 seconds bonus time. They now have got 20 seconds per pickup. So I don't know. I personally don't think this Arden is much of a threat. Yes, Quarterfall and those gauntlets. It's kind of it's just terrible. Even just thinking of facing Quarterfall and those gauntlets. But Quarterfall can easily just settle on that Churnwalker, which is still open. If not, then Lance as well. I know Churnwalker, Lance, Grace, these heroes are basically heroes that, Quarterfall just very, very comfortable with. Grace, Quarterfall played Grace entirety of the previous split as well. And there you have it. We will be seeing a Grace coming through. And for the side of RNG, they can once again go for that Lance, try for that Lance. If not, then Catherine.
Yeah, Grace, pretty standard pick. I think that Catherine might be picked up to counter Petal, but they're going to go Churnwalker again. So once it was banned away from him in the last game, is allowed to be picked in this game. I know they like their Churnwalker. Early game pressure can work well, but Grace also does well early game. So their last pick probably going to be won't be a Kestrel because that's countered by Petal, and so Baron might come through if they want to go for more of a late game comp. But they're running out of time, so I think they're going to be kind of rushed. They're going to stick with their Vox. So more of a very standard composition that are coming out. That's what you expect it to be picked on A side. Now, last pick, I hope that Petal goes weapon against the Vox, and then they last pick something like a Samuel. Just go for that poke against the Rhyme. It will work really well. With Grace, you have healing. As long as you just keep out of range of Churnwalker, you'll be fine.
Yep, and Vox is the pickup by Impunity, and this time Impunity do not get that Vox. And we saw generally Vox is a very good counter into Petal because you clear lane fast firstly, and the Resonance Bounce generally would still get to the backs of Petal. Granted, Petal have a longer range than you, but in the early game, you can kind of bully Petal out of lane. But you just have to note the sword, not the sword, but the Grace and Samuel coming through from Impunity. Those are very, very big pickups for Impunity. Only reason I'm saying that is because for all 3 games, and for all the games that we've seen Impunity play today, 90% of the games are locked on this Samuel. And as for the Grace, it is Quarter War classic go-to. Classic pickup. He knows the ins and outs of Grace, and Holy Nova just stunning the entirety of the side of Renegades up. It will be a big game changer for the side of Impunity.
Impunity absolutely love to play their Samuel. They play it well, so there's no reason not to enjoy playing it, to try and draft it whenever possible. And so with the Rhyme meta at the moment, it just makes perfect sense for them. Bait the Rhyme pick, counter it with our Samuel. We last picked Samuel to make sure that they don't have a hard counter to us, to make sure they're not playing something out of the meta like a lane Rona, or not lane Rona, but a lane Jewel, for example, does really good against Samuel. You push him out of his Drifting Dark, burst him down so quickly. Make sure it's more of a poke hero they're put in the lane so that you can outpoke him with your Samuel. And yeah, it's a nice draft from both teams. Pretty standard from on A side and pretty decent counter picks on B side. So I think either team can take this. It's as it normally is between these two teams, down to execution. I would expect late game scaling from both teams. I don't think that Renegades are going to go too aggressive with their Churnwalker. I don't think that it's going to be the really hard engage that we've seen some Churnwalkers do, but we're going to have to wait and find out. Let us know which team you think is going to take this third game. Is it going to be Renegades? Will it be Impunity? We're loading into the house to unfold. And Luxuria, which team would you put slightly ahead?
I want to say Renegades. I think Renegades will come out of this one very, very strong. We saw how Chingy just played on this Rhyme. He was phenomenal. And SNK's... okay, let's compare SNK's hooks to the other Churnwalker we saw today, which would be Guessing X. And you casted a match for Guessing X, if I remember correctly, right? The one with Brand Esports. And we saw how accurate those hooks were. Whereas for SNK, I know, I'll get tons of flaming for this, but we haven't quite seen those very accurate hooks coming through. SNK just predicting a little too much. If you realize how he lands those hooks, he lands before where the enemy lands, but before where the enemies goes, instead of directly or just slightly away from the enemies. And that is what I'm talking about. SNK predicts a little too much when he plays on this Churnwalker. And so I just want to see more accurate hooks coming through. If SNK can run this Churnwalker very, very well, paired with Spaghetti's Vox, I think it's jackpot for the side of Renegades.
Yeah, I think that Churnwalker is hard to land those hooks. It's similar to an Impale, but you have to do it constantly and on all the enemies to make sure that you land that. It's not as bad if you miss the hook as if you miss the Impale. Queasy going to try and steal the straight away. Nice body blocking, but Quarter War comes in and gets it. Lovely Hundover gets a double stun, and SNK is going to go quite away. Now Queasy is the next target. Shingy using his bone boots to try and chase onto Queasy. Nice rotation from Petal. Will it be enough? Quick, Shingy's going to go low, but will Queasy fall? No! Queasy will stay alive, and that is a first blood to Quarter War. Nice plays from Impunity. Good steal from Quarter War on the Treant as well.
I reckon Impunity will only win this through steals, right? Stealing the Kraken, stealing the Treant, stealing every single thing you can steal, and Impunity wins. But I still have got faith for RNG. I mean, they still look very, very strong, and the only issue then was the body blocking coming through. Samuel is in the Malice and is in the Drifting Dark. It's quite impossible to try to body block when you're in such close vicinity to that Elder Treant anyways. Kosovo saw that, very good rotation coming through from Kosovo. He came down almost immediately, slammed down with that Benediction, scores the Treant, and then win a team fight for the side of Renegades.
Queasy trying to seal that way, but Shingy gets it this time. No boots available, so nice damage from Queasy. One chain, two chains, but it's nowhere near enough. Spaghetti rotating Petal this time. So Queasy could be in a bit of trouble. No energy for Vox though, so he can just only do one Sonic Zoom before he's out of energy. Now Queasy going to boots in towards Shingy's trying to do as much damage as possible. The Will Chillwinds does not land any kind of route, and Spaghetti's going to go down. So will Shingy. Delayed ace. The Churnwalker did just respawn. Queasy deciding that because Churnwalker is up, he's not going to steal the entire jungle away, just the front camp. So nice play from Impunity, and that wasn't a steal luxury, that was just a good team fight.
That was a very, very good team fight. I take that back. Maybe Impunity will not win games with steals, but hey,
They can.
But I mean, let's all be honest, right? Their steals coming through from Impunity have been relatively, on point. It kind of secures them a lot of things for themselves. But what happened really then was that Spaghetti, when he roamed down, he was out of energy, couldn't do much in the team fight, and they were just going back and forth between Grace and Samuel, so they were just going back and forth. They do not know which target to just focus on. Probably some miscomm over there, but early 4 kills going over to Impunity, and this is what I'm talking about. Kosovo just so very comfortable on this Grace, and he has got 100% kill participation at this point in time. And you can tell he's very comfortable, and although Grace has kind of phased out the meta, but another fight may just be happening. All 6 members of both teams.
Torment gonna pull back Queasy. Grace gonna go in and trying to land those chains. Keep at the back of his Drifting Dark. One Malice lands onto SNK. Chain, 2 chains, but Northern are gonna get a double knock up, and that's the Torment gonna pull Queasy back in to beat there. Wait, Queasy cutting back. Deku gonna go solo. Deku gonna use himself nice and healthy, and Shingy is gonna do as much work as he can, but meanwhile Spaghetti is gonna do lovely plays onto Queasy, forcing him back into the jungle and getting the kill. Not quite landing the hook, and Shane Defq is gonna go a bit low, protect contract, keeping Spaghetti healthy, and Defq's back under his turret. Meanwhile, Shingy going towards the jungle, gonna steal away that Triumph. Kosovo back into the base. He can pick up a fountain, so he's going to do so. And Defq wants to defend this turret by himself. Spaghetti one basic off that Sonic Zoom, and Queasy's back up into lane. He's probably going to use Drifting Dark to defend this turret, because otherwise Shingy can be coordination. Valkyrie is going to go completely wide because of the still going to go down anyway. Did not matter. And Kosovo is back up with the fountain. Didn't quite use it in time to save Queasy. It is now on cooldown to the Queasy falls, fountain's down. Shingy wants to get the turret. Knock up, not going to land onto Shingy. But Shingy's going to tank the turret. No, that's disaster. Shingy's going to go down on this vibe. Quarterback wants to do a 1 versus 3 on the captain. He's going to try it. There's going to be the basic attack doing a lot of work. He needs 8 seconds. And the Torment going to put him in. He's like, okay, give me a chance. Let me get a knock up and I'll kill you. But no, Quarterback can't get the kill. Renegade's back off to the turret, but Petal might get a bit of turret damage now. He knows Vox is back to the base.
I'm not sure if this is a smart decision coming through from Kosovo, but he is healing up fine. He is out of combat. The Fountain's passive will just keep him healthy, and then stealing that health trend, the mid trend definitely did, give him healthier. And this is the issue right now from the side of Renegades. I mean, I've got so much faith in them in the early game. I was, but what is happening right now is just mistakes after mistakes, and a lot of it is just mistakes because of miscommunication. The Torment into a Valkyrie, yes, very good on paper, but not so much when you Torment and then you Valkyrie at the original spot of the enemy that you're trying to land your Valkyrie on. So maybe the side of RNG have to rework on their communication coming into this particular fight, else they will just give Impunity a lot of opportunity to just push them against their wits and up against the wall.
Nice damage from Queasy with these Empowered Malice and Verdicts. He's putting up a Dragon's Eye that will sustain for an awful long time on this Samuel. Torment gonna yank back Quartervoir. Now Impunity looking to try and get this tier 1 turret. It's very low. Defq could trample in, but then he might fall himself. He's gonna go for it. Livian forcing them back. Nice plays from Impunity. He wants to go in. Turret's not gonna fall. Samuel, wrong direction, but he's in the divine direction, and he's gonna get back up quite healthy. But a lovely Torment pulls him back. The knock up with the 2-man and Holy Nova. Race can't do that much. Defq's gonna go down, and turret did not fall. Look at that health. Quarterbar's solo. He's gonna boot his way. He'll be fine. That chain's not going to do anything. He's like, yeah, I can come in. Does not quite block Torment though. Now Shingy once again tackling the turret. This time he's going to be okay. Turret falls for Renegades, and Impunity not looking that good. Samuel just gets yanked by this Torment, pulled back into the fight, and there's nowhere he can go.
You would think that Samuel being this, very lofty, just loofty character, just drifting around in that drifting duck would be a hard target to hit. But SNK obviously trying to basically maybe just tuning into stream right now and just saying, oh, so this particular caster is saying that I can't land my hook and chains. Well, let me show him what I can do with my hook and chains. And he definitely showed up. He played well in that particular team fight. He landed those hook and chains. He yanked those, humans, the heroes that he needed to yank. But now the side of Impunity may be looking to push.
Yeah, hook and chain does miss a little bit short in the end. It's not missing, that's just not being level 8. And now Goldmine has reached full payout, 400 gold for whichever team decides to take that. And Shingy taking a little bit of poke. Fusion popped by Spaghetti. You can see what they can do. Wait for it comes through. They're going to silence up, but Queasy is drifting, but he's going to get drifting dark, and that's it. He's not going to be able to get any more. Oblivion's going to come through, sleep up the Germ Walker. Root lands on Shingy. Valkyrie dodged by Queasy, but he's still going to go low. That's going to be a Petal jumping over the before the trespass can come and stun him up. Shingy doing loads of work. Petal's going to go down as well. And now Grace is going to be the next target. Yanked into the tree and Root. SNK with the plays, and Renegades going to get this goal.
Yep, Renegades played very well, very, very clean A's coming through, and well, I guess they are putting work after all, and this second tier turret will definitely fall. But Spaghetti may not just want to push it in, as all 3 members of Impunity will spawn, and Spaghetti will just head on into the jungle to try to aid his team with this gold mine. Although I personally think his team could have just done it without him. But in that particular team fight, we saw Quissy just in this very not precarious. What is the word that I'm looking for? Not dangerous as well. Haphazard position for himself. And as with DevQ as well, DevQ just burned the trampoline just to get extra damage on those basic attacks, but it was just not enough. Half the time when you're in a back foot, you want to burn those trampoline to just get away, try to run away, play it defensively, as with Baron's jump jets.
Yeah, I think that that Petal needs to be really defensive with these trampolines. You can try and be aggressive onto Vox, but then you're going to die to Rhyme. So you have to just jump out of that Rhyme when he boots in and just kite him away. The Churnwalker train's going to be really, really interesting to try and play against. Here we go. Queasy drifting dark sideways, only gets 2 match bonus out of it. Torment pulls DevQ back, but he's not going to go into the loving arms of Shingy, trying to land those Wind Spires. Simultaneous combustion, bringing Petal back up to a bit more health. 3 charges already used by Petal. Now Renegade's going to start up this Crystal Sentry, and BP is being taken down. No contest by Impunity. Instead, they want this tier 1 turret. DevQ, will he tank it with minions to take it down? He probably could, but he's going to push the wave in. But where is the rest of the team? Cordovar's going to be caught out, but no! Renegades go to ignore Cordovar completely, going for Petal alone. DevQ will get the turret, but he is going to die most likely, unless he can kite Spaghetti. He's using healing fast. Will it be enough? Spaghetti with the double but he gets the kill. Spaghetti, and that's going to be a nice block by Queasy on the trespass from SNK. Queasy backs off. In the end, a worthwhile trade for Impunity. I would have liked to see Petal tank the turret with her seeds and take it down without minions. Then she would have been in a way better position because Vox wouldn't have got the kill. But still, getting the turret with minions is a good trade.
Yeah, but RNG, with Impunity taking the first turret, Renegades can easily just turn their attention onto this gold mine, but Quartervore, with a Benediction up, may come in for a steal, and that is how Impunity will win the game, but it will not come through. Quartervore will just back off, just afraid that the entirety of Renegades will just jump and collapse onto Quartervore on that Grace. And I must say, this team comp coming out from the side of Renegades, definitely working out for them. Because Queasy at this point just not putting out enough damage to just push the entirety of Renegades out. I was saying earlier on in the first first game itself that Queasy on this Samuel has to play very aggressive in the early game in the lane. They did that, but then afterwards, after a couple of kills, that went against, after a couple of fights that went against their their wishes, and they were basically just punished. They were just not punished, but they were just forced into those fights by Renegades. They just decided to back off. Although, you know, Queasy and the goal difference then weren't all too much. It was just a 500 goal difference, and Queasy could have just easily come back up to lane and just put equal amount of pressure like that, you know, in that first game. But it didn't quite come through, and thus they are sitting now in a very uncomfortable position for themselves, just having to constantly back off, having to play safe.
DefQ is in a terrible position. He's going to try and jump away, but he's going to die. Spaghetti's got 2 damage items to DefQ's 3, but it does not matter. Spaghetti's got the damage, got the defense, and he's got a breaking point, so he's going to stack up. And DefQ's got no defense, so he's going to die. It's really interesting build from Spaghetti. He's gone for War Treads and Metal Jacket before a 3rd damage item. It's not something we see an awful lot now. Drifting Dark from Samuel. Spaghetti's going to do a load of work, and the Torment Trespass going to stun up Portavois, and he's going to be stunned out of the Divine Intervention. What DefQ is going to be doing. Doing quite a lot of work on the back line. Nova gets a single knock-up, and it's going to be dodged by Spaghetti. Spaghetti now taking a lot of damage, but Petal with this. So Petal is not doing that much because of the Metal Jacket was picked up. SNK, Torment Petal back, and Petal's stuck by the Rhyme. Jumping over the walls, not enough. She goes back to the face. Quarterback gets a double Holy Nova before he does die. Now, Turret is the focus. I don't think they can get it without minions. Greasy is there to defend. Still, Samuel with this Eve of Harvest is sustaining for absolutely ages. But can Greasy get the minions before Shingy gets the turret? Shingy to boots in. Nice bait from Shingy. Boots in, force Greasy to boots away. And now switching focus once the turret has gone. Block onto the wait for it. Greasy drifting dark forwards, but he has not got much energy for these valors and verdicts. Not quite going to land on Shingy. Will he get on Spaghetti? Don't think he's quite in range. Petal's going to try and come through with this 3 damage item build. But Renegade's looking really good. And it looks like your prediction may be coming true. Look at that goal difference.
Yeah, I mean, 32k going for the side of Renegades, and then you have 27,000 for the side of Impunity. And talking about Spaghetti's build, right? Going for, you know, just defense, just tanking up, having the wall threats, extra health, means that you can't just stay in a fight for a very long time, building up those breaking point stacks. And so far, it is working very, very well for them. And the only reason being is because we have Chingy there to put out the burst damage. What Spaghetti really needs to do is just stay chill and then slowly stack those breaking points. Very much like a Sky, if need be, but of course, but lesser mobility. But DefQ going for the split push, going on to the second turret of Renegades.
We're in 5v5, apparently Impunity doing the split push strategy. Queasy's going to go over. Queasy is just baiting, and the gold mine's taken out by Renegades. What is Renegades doing? DefQ's got 2 turrets. He just doesn't care. DefQ's going to put home now. He's going to die. He does not care. He's like, screw it, I'm going for the base. Let me win this game. He wants to jump over the wall, but no. He's not going to do so much. Actually, Spaghetti. No, DefQ wants to do the base. DefQ gets the kill. Kraken's awakened. And Chingy spawn. Trampoline in 1 second. He gets over the wall. DefQ with the plays. Gets 3 turrets. Gets a kill. And this may even be a Kraken. Picked up by Impunity. What just happened, Luxuria?
5v5, I guess. I don't know.
No, Renegades are doing the 5v5 matchup of playing. This isn't Impunity. This is Renegades playing at World.
This is split push at its bestest. We saw DefQ coming through with this last week as well, and it worked out very, very well for Renegades, but it was just Impunity, or rather the side of, no, we saw this from Impunity and worked very well for him. But
it's going to be a fight though. Got to hold that thought. DefQ going to fight though. He's going to, the Oblivion's going to come through, and Petal gets the Kraken. Bad for the Rhyme. Rhyme is going to be trying to chase down Vox. Wait for it comes through. He's going to sonic him towards, but Petal's going to try and run away. On Shingy, the MVP is not quite there. Where is the Crystal Sentry? Oh no! This is Renegades going to get the kills, and they might even base race, but to be fair, it's only 16 minutes in, so they have to defend this Kraken. Portavois will probably just maybe stop Spaghetti porting, because the ace isn't going to be that important. Nice Atlas and boots from Portavois. They bought those tier 2 boots, I do believe, and then used them. He probably will die now, just running to the sentry as long as he can. He's going to Divine Intervention himself. Vox running over the wall, but he's going to run backwards. Double Holy Nova, not going to come through. And SNK did die, so nice play from Portavois. He doesn't care about the ace. He only cares about this Kraken pushing as long as possible. And in the end, probably not worth taking the Kraken because they were solo after having taken it. But DefQ pushing down the base so that these 2 Vainglory turrets are exposed.
Yeah, and okay, so basically DefQ did this last week, and it worked out fine for him. And it was a play that kind of made us all excited because we are so confused as to what DevQ really is doing, and this is basically the plan, right? DevQ push in, tries to run out. You have Quarterfall just running to his rescue with those divine intervention. DevQ trampolining out and then just keeping himself safe. So he manages to push tier 1 turret, tier 2 turret, tier 3, all in this manner. So if they cannot win a team fight, so that is how you are going to be. And then afterwards they secure the Kraken. Kraken manages to take 1 turret down. So it is overall, you know, just a win for Impunity right now. The side of Renegades, they should really respond much faster. They had SNK porting back, but what can SNK do to stop, you know, a Petal? And then we saw Vox as well. Actually, Vox went back first. Vox in 1v1 with Petal lost out almost immediately. There was no fight whatsoever. Petal have got 4 damage items. Vox only sitting at 2.5 then. So it will be a very difficult fight for Vox. I mean, Vox has to kite for his life, but it will not come through.
Yeah, lots of vision on the back door. I suppose Petal can sneak away by carving a path through those scout traps and make a back door, but that would be ridiculous if Petal just happens to guess where the scout traps are and walk past them. And so DefQ really can't backdoor from now unless they bait a fight and then DefQ runs away, in which case Renegades cannot port home. So DefQ looking to see if he can get that trampoline damage onto anyone, actually. SNK did the way to counter this backdoor and split push strat is have the vision. You have the vision in lane, don't just count on your minions. Have scout traps to know where Petal's pushing and where she is, so that you know when you're being baited into a team fight and when you can disengage. Nice plays from Impunity. They're looking. If you didn't look at the gold lead or the kills, you would think Impunity are winning. But in all other aspects, in all the team fights, Impunity are falling behind this Fox. He's now fully built, so the rest of the gold Spaghetti picks up is useless. You can't get anything else. Engage onto SNK. DefQ did a bit of poke, and that is a bit more than a bit of poke. SNK down to about half hours, but so is DefQ. The trespass did come through now. Spaghetti putting on some breaking with stacks. Nice Oblivion on the Samuel. Jump out of the Rhyme ultimate, and that's Atlas not quite going to land. Rhyme is going to go low, but so is Quarterbar. He is much healthier than SNK. SNK is dead. Quarterbar's going to go down. The Divine Intervention Echo was already used. Now DefQ seeing what he can do. He's thinking about it, just running away. Chingy is going to try and chase down DefQ, but the port's home will come through. Nope, they're going to be baited. Queasy doesn't know who's there. Everyone's going to back off. I don't think Renegades will actually take this Kraken. No, only Rhyme by himself. But yeah, look at that. Look at all those scout traps in the base. There's just no way that Petal is going to get past that.
There's no way.
Well, there is a way.
Well,
you can see the little path down.
Yeah.
Down onto that one, up by the tier 2 tower, and then down through the jungle, jump over. Easy really for Petal.
Yep, there you go. So that's the way that, you know, Mediamizer have mapped out for DefQ. Let's see if DefQ would actually, you know, go on that path and bring Impunity, you know, to Nirvana, if not then victory. I mean, Petal can definitely do the backdoor. She has got the damage, 4 damage items. You don't even quite need that wave. Her per basic attack now probably would do about 400-500. So it's quite safe to say Petal can just easily go in. But then I know
there's a scout trap. SNK saw my plan. But a scout trap by the tier 2 turret, so Petal can't do that. Oh no.
Well, he has got a very tiny path to walk down.
There now is a tiny road that Petal can try and sneak past. Oh dear, DefQ's gonna do it. DefQ's doing the slip, just pushing the lane up. Just a little bit, not too much. Oh, but there might be a fight. No! There's a basic attack from both way as much as possible. First chain comes out. Here's the drifting. Very aggressive from Queasy. He's trying to stay inside it. I'm not quite sure he's not inside it, so only one Madison verdict out of that drifting dark, which is not good for Queasy, but Spaghetti is split from the rest of his team. So is Quarterbar. Boots and Crucible used by Quarterbar, which is really bad for Impunity if Renegades look to fight soon. Torment not going to put it on him back, but it was used by SNK. He's got everything up for himself. Queasy aggressive with that drifting, considering that there was a Vanquish, there was a sentry, but DefQ was looking at it. He's popping a couple of scout traps, which is nice. Quarterbar though, gonna go low. There's the trespass. Quarterbar's gonna go very low. He gets the Atlas and the second Echo trespass. That'll be Quarterbar dead. Now Defq's like, oh no, I can't backdoor. They have vision, and unless he goes for the something special, I think Renegades should take this Kraken. Defq's going to try and just split, and he's going to split. He blocks the Atlas. Can Defq do it? Spaghetti's going to survive. He'll be okay. Now Samuel's thinking, do I 1 versus 3? Do I steal Kraken? Or look at the minions. They are pushing down into the base, so Vox full support home. Samuel can't 1v1 Showwalker at this point, apparently, and so that means the Kraken will be taken freely by Ryan by himself, unless Queasy bought some flares. Queasy has 3 flares in his inventory. He's thinking about this 20 seconds on his on his Oblivion, but Drifting Dark and Malice and Verdict can splash damage and steal Kraken. He's thinking about it. He's got flares. He's got a couple left. There's the Drifting, but Shingy's like, nah, I'll wait, I won't take it. But he's going to get it. Yes, the sticker. Shingy is low. Shingy has to ball home. He's run out of energy. And now Queasy running towards the sentry. He's 1 versus 3 basically at this point. Sentry's going to make sure he gets the kill, but Kraken goes to Samuel with the steal. And now Petal can push to win the game. He's up in 1 second. Quarterbar's going to try and keep this Kraken healthy. But what is going on? Impunity with 2 steals in 2 games. I don't think Petal's going to get anything out of this push. But one thing Quarterbar can get is vision control. If Quarterbar just flares out as many spots as possible, he can try and pop the vision so Petal can do the backdoor. Or SNK has to buy way more vision. But Kraken is pushing him. What's going on, Luxuria?
I don't know. I mean, I told you, Impunity, if they will win through steals and just...
Kraken's only half health.
There you go.
He's going to engage onto Defq. Echo.
Oh, you're so hyped. You just broke this squad, but that is that.
I broke this squad.
Yep.
What's going on? The Kraken wins the game. They're going to win the game. Is Kraken going to do it? Quarterbar is trying to push down the base, and the Buttery Biscuit base is going to be exposed. Vein Crystal is open. Now Quarterbar on this captain base. He's not going to give up the ace. He's going to actually run. He knows he can't win the game. I'm going to relax because Quarterbar's dead. But what is the play? What can Renegade do to try and stop this, Luxuria?
Tons. They can do tons. Maybe first they just start with visioning up the map. Just light the map up like it's Christmas, and that's the first step really. Like Chan Walker now, I mean SNK now, just glow the map up, just light it up, and yeah, basically do that, and then push down into the lane of Impunity. As long as you see Defq, as long as you catch Defq, do not go into the jungle anymore, because that is not a place you want to stay for a fight. I know it favors Chingy, but then the more aggressive you are, the more vision you get in the first lane, like now, right? So Defq cannot traverse down this lane. You force Defq to protect, and this is how you are going to win the game.
This is a protect. Lovely block from Defq actually, but you got Crucible to block the second trespass. I did not expect Defq to actually be able to block it. It's really tough ability. The tier 3 tower did go down, so Impunity's base is also exposed. That's really important that Renegades were able to push that one down. The gold lead, negligible at this point. It does not matter. Petal's fully built. Queasy is not quite there, but pretty much Queasy needs to get all the farm. But yeah, the gold lead isn't a factor because Impunity could win this fight. Here we go. This is the time. Quarterbar's going to get hooked up by that hook, and Jane already used up the healing flask for SNK, and now Queasy seeing what he can do. Gets 2 Malice and Verdict combos out of the Drifting Dark. Quick Chingy takes out 100 roots, but there was the War Treads disengaged from Bordevoir, and that is War Treads used by Queasy. He's on the Samuel. He's picked up War Treads himself. Lots of captain items for all the members of Impunity. And Crucible is back up for Defq. I hope they have the coordination to block this Echo trespass, because if they do so, that is massive. Because if you block the trespass, the chains still get broken and you don't get stunned. So it's literally the best ability in the game to block. And Queasy, interesting Malice and Verdict combo there. He didn't quite mean that. Now Petal, seeing what she can do with that infusion. SNK going to be the first target. Drifting Dark forward, but there's a sentry for Renegades to back. This is not a good time for Impunity to fight. And they don't know what to do because Impunity are thinking they want to fight this. So they win the fight, they win the game. But there's a sentry. Now Shinging, bootsing him with this Journey Boots. And now the fire focus. It's not going to get the Valkyrie. Valkyrie stuns up Queasy. Queasy's going to go low. Trespass going to come through. And it's going to be a kill for Petal actually. Petal's going to get the shutdown. And how is Samuel still alive? Impunity are going to take the game. My voice is gone, but Impunity somehow took that team fight.
Somehow, and I must say, it is Quarterval coming in clutch. Chingy was the first to fall. It was so very difficult to land those Winter Spires for Chingy at least, and we just see how tanky the entirety of Impunity is. And I don't know. Good game. Very well played, Impunity. Your split push technique, your steals, definitely coming through for you guys.
Some might call it dirty. I think it's just lovely, exciting gameplay to watch. What a final 26 minutes, 26 seconds. The kills, the gold, the builds were wacky, let's put it that way. Crucible on Death Cube because apparently Rhyme does no damage, so you don't need Aegis. There was the block that echoed Stress Bust, makes sense. Greasy with War Treads on Samuel, overcharges for some reason. Again, I'm not quite sure why, but
extra
hey,
health.
it worked. Extra health.